Other than that, I did go to another session on Enterprise and jQuery, and I got to nerd out and finally found out why the dollar sign doesn't work like it's supposed to. It's because they have a second JavaScript library in there, which has been driving me bonkers for forever, because everywhere you go for jQuery, it says just use the dollar sign. I'm like, no, I have to write out jQuery. It doesn't work otherwise.
And if you understood any of that, you're a better person than I am. I thought he was just talking about another service. Right, exactly. Hey, you are lucky that he is as excited about this stuff as he is.
Because this session is what allowed me to figure out how to do custom book covers in the catalog.
Oh.
It was taught by Jeremy Newville, and if you haven't heard us talk about him, he's really awesome as an instructor.
He's a weightlifter, so it's really funny.
Oh, I think you enjoyed that one.
Be careful.
And he usually has some pretty good science.
We're not going there.
He's a very, he knows coding and he knows programming, he knows Horizon. And then you meet this guy and he's got like muscles and you're like, that's not what a coder is supposed to look like.
Coder can't have muscles. I'm going to remember that.
And you find out he's not Brian Huffinger, so he has a soul.
Yes.
Okay, keep going, Tyler.
Oh, I just wanted to toss in the example from the custom book cover one that he put in there was for a book which you couldn't find a book cover for in Syndetics because the book was Paddington Gets Tanked.
So he's got some humor, too.
We don't have that one.
Are you done?
I have one other session. I don't know what use it. I would like to see us go in this route, but it would take a lot of time and effort. Was the Vancouver Public Library has it set up so that their online services actually, when someone authenticates through them, it writes to Horizon's separate table, which allows them to run reports through Horizon and Web Reporter that shows the online activity, such as their databases and their Overdrive directly from there, rather than from our current model of exporting the information from Overdrive, importing into Horizon, running the custom scripts ourselves every time we need to do it. So that's an interesting idea, but it would be a lot of setup and staff time to get around that.
The import.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tyler kind of covered the basics of Kosugi, and I do tend to go to most of the Horizon sessions. I won't go into the nitty-gritty about all of them because I'll cover just kind of the big ones on what's coming with Horizon and Blue Cloud. But a lot of what I get out of Kosugi is the networking. About, I think it's a third of the CERSI Dynamics community is Horizon people, and we sort of stick together and we all start to know each other, and getting to know other Horizon users in the state, but more importantly, other consortial Horizon users is really important. I can email somebody and say, are you having this problem? And they'll say, yes, and this is how we fixed it, or no, you guys are not, you know, you need to go to the service desk and get them to help you. So that's a lot of what comes out of Kosugi for me. But as far as what's coming for Horizon, there is an upgrade coming. It is coming this fall. It'll be for your clients. It is going to be Horizon 7.5.3. The big thing that you guys probably care about is that it's going to include the ability to email checkout receipts. So when your patrons come up and they want, you know, their slip of all their items out, they can just have it sent to their email. And then, yeah, I have it on my phone because my email's on my phone. Or you'll be able to print, or you'll be able to do both. You'll be able to choose that in the borrower record. The other big thing that's coming, a lot of the schools have asked for this, and that is patron photos. So that would be within Horizon. It would be right sort of next to the borrower barcode down below it. I saw a screenshot. If you really want to see a picture, there's a really bad picture on my phone. And Horizon would have the ability to take the picture and then crop the picture so it fits. And you'd also be able to batch load pictures if you have some kind of patron photo database. I don't know if schools do that, but some might. So you could batch load them in with your other data. Other big upgrades that are coming to the fall upgrade is the 1990s technology of the scroll wheel mouse working. So if you've ever done a title search and you've gotten more than 35, I think it is, 33 results, you have to hit the resume button. right? Now you'll be able to use your scroll wheel on your mouse.
Wow. How much does that cost?
So that's on there. There's going to be some other mark updates for RDA, some controlled vocabulary things, and some INTIF responder updates, which is important for MinLink and our statewide connectivity. So let me see. And the other big change update that's coming is, actually we're currently on the 2015 January release of Horizon Web Services. There's going to be another release coming in May or June. They have it labeled as 05, but I've actually heard it's been pushed back to June. So the big thing about that release, and why it's important, is we just got the one that allows us to do Blue Cloud cataloging, but most SERC functionality isn't. There's no web services for Horizon SERC functionality. This release is going to give us that SERC functionality. And at this point, Horizon's web services development is now starting to outpace Symphony's, which was really exciting to hear them say. Symphony is a more closed database than Horizon, and so they've sort of reached what they can do without doing a lot of machinations on top of it. And so now Horizon is taking off, and we're outpacing Symphony. Brett described it as the VP from the company described it as the tortoise and the hare, and Symphony has been the hare, you know, running out ahead. But now the tortoise has rocket boosters and is, you know, going right past the tortoise or the hare. So that's exciting for us as Horizon users, because it means we're going to be at level with Symphony, if not have more. So for those of us who stuck with Horizon through all the problems that Cersei Dynix had, no.
In the company, or?
It does, yeah. I mean, it has several, and they always do a Q&A session where people ask. You know, you just have questions you can ask, and there's always somebody who asks I heard Horizon was going end of life, and the panel, who are all the VPs and the CEOs up there, all stand up and say, no, we are dedicated to Horizon, and that's why you're seeing improvements on Horizon. And that's, I mean, we're seeing it now. They've been giving us lip service for years. We've talked about the problems with the roadmap in this group, but now we're starting to actually see the fruition of it. So.
Question for Donovan: does this mean, from what I've just heard, that eventually we'll be eliminating the Citrix farm and saving costs there and going web-based and not messing around with the Citrix process?
That is a theoretical possibility, and it's
so it's not going to happen in 2015.
No.
Okay.
So,
they don't have all those software
right.
So if we've got CERC on version 05 or 06.
So that's a slightly different issue. So
okay.
Where the Blue Cloud modules, which are these web-based modules, right now there's one of them that is out for use, and that is the cataloging module.
Right.
Now, it's taken a long time for it to come out. I'm talking years,
right,
to the point that many of us were starting to question whether it would ever happen. What Cersei Dynix has always said is that the cataloging one, the first one, is going to take the longest to produce, because that's the one where they're creating all the database calls, creating all the web services, infrastructure that needs to happen. And that once they got that first one out, then the remaining ones would come out much more quickly. And so we're now at that point where if that's really going to happen, we're going to start seeing it in the next year or two. So I'm tentatively excited about that.
Yeah.
But there are some caveats. Cheryl alluded earlier that the cataloging module, the Blue Cloud Web one, does not have all the functionality of that staff client that we deliver through Citrix. They've made no commitment that it will ever have all the functionality. And I think that that's safe to assume that the other modules will follow that same pattern. Well, partly they're trying to keep it simple. There's a lot of functionality, much like some of other older systems. There's a lot of functionality in there that maybe only a small handful of users actually ever use. They're trying to streamline and simplify the client. The Blue Cloud modules are being designed to work with both Horizon and Symphony. So a certain amount of streamlining is implied by that. Cheryl, correct me if I'm getting any of this wrong, but this is what I've always heard. So, you know, I don't know for sure that the Blue Cloud modules would ever take the place of the Horizon Staff Client. But oh my goodness, if it ever does, yeah, we're going to be in a happy place. Because then no more Citrix, which is a huge expenditure of both staff time and dollars. It would be good for a lot of reasons. So, you know, what you're describing, that is the nirvana that I'm hoping someday we will get to. But it's not going to be a
I'll be
year.
retired.
A lot of things are going to change after you leave it.
It could be very cool. We're excited to see it starting to
I'll
happen.
come back for the party.
Yeah.
I think Donovan, I mean, what you said is overall correct. I think they want to, in their ideal world, they get us all off the clients too. I do think that.
I like that.
Yeah. But does that mean every single piece of functionality in the client is going to make its way into the first or second or third release of Blue Cloud Circ? Probably not. You know.
The question comes: do we need all those features?
Yes, and
That's when we start talking
balance.
about trade-offs.
and some of that is going to be a conversation we have to have. You know.
And with the drive for simplification that we keep hearing about, I think that kind of fits into that broader conversation.
For part of this group?
Not today. But
Okay.
But
All right.
I can, if we have time, I'll tell you what the plan is.
Okay. Thank you.
Or the immediate plan, not the overall forever and ever.
Short term.
we would love for these web-based modules to take the place of the staff client. I think that would be completely awesome.
And I think for 90% of what we as a region are doing, the first and the second and maybe the third one will do it just fine. Do we all need access to the bookmark functionality in Horizon in the web-based client? Probably not, because probably most of you have never used it. So, but would it still be available in the client? Sure. The clients aren't going anywhere, but ideally, yeah, we do everything in the browser. It makes it easier for you. It makes it easier and cheaper for everybody.
And even if we didn't reach that point where everybody is using the web-based modules, if 75 or 90% of our users were using the web-based modules, maybe Citrix doesn't go away, but it sure gets smaller.
Because you're paying a per user license.
We pay per user licenses, we pay server database licenses, we pay a lot of fees on that. So yeah, there's good things potentially coming from this. Absolutely. I'm excited that the cataloging module came out finally. I was starting to despair, but it's here.
And we did have in one session about Horizon with about a bunch of the system admins in there, we had this conversation about how we are glad that Blue Cloud cataloging is out. And you know what? They said it was going to do X, Y, and Z, and it does X, Y, and Z. And they didn't oversell it. They didn't undersell it. They told us what it was going to do. So it's good progress.
That is progress.
I'll be done.
I would echo one thing that Cheryl said, because I think it's really a key piece. The Horizon database has always been more robust and flexible than the Symphony one. The Symphony database is a flat database file. Some of you know exactly what that means. The Horizon database has always been a relational database, which is by definition stronger and more flexible for these kinds of services. So there's a much higher ceiling on the Horizon database for what you can do with web services than the Symphony module. Obviously, they've been focusing their efforts on Symphony. But now that they have finally sort of exhausted the possibilities of what you could do with Symphony, and they've really turned their attention to Horizon, the sky is kind of the limit. So I think that's a very positive sign.
Anything else to report? Yeah, thanks, Cheryl and Tyler. Thanks, Cheryl, for not mentioning any other fit mails in your
I did
report.
do a class by Jeremy, or a session with you too, but.
We will move on to the CRC Dynamics roadmap.
And honestly, a lot of what I was planning to say, Cheryl and Tyler did cover pretty well, so this part will be fairly quick. I will mention, just in case anyone is interested, some history here, since I am kind of a history buff. The whole scroll wheel mouse thing, and it not working in the client, a lot of the user interface quirks, i.e. maddening limitations, in the Horizon client stem back to the fact that that client was originally coded for the OS/2 operating system back in the early 90s. John's nodding. Back in the early 90s, that was IBM's response to Windows. And they thought that that was going to be the operating system of the future, and of course it didn't work out that way. So a lot of the strange things in Horizon are actually, that's how user interface in OS/2 worked. So it's nice to see they're finally admitting that OS/2 is not coming back and making a priority out of fixing some of those.
They tried really hard, though.
So I personally just find that really interesting.
No.
Yeah.
I know, and then I always kind of, you know.
The way the control key does not function for selecting multiple things on a list the way it does in Windows, that's also an OS/2 artifact, in case you've ever run up against that. Okay, so that's pretty much everything for core services. As far as the Blue Cloud staff roadmap, I'm not going to say a whole lot about these because most of these are services we don't have, and Cheryl's pretty well covered Blue Cloud cataloging already. I will just mention that we are tentatively planning to implement Blue Cloud Analytics and Mobile Circ in the new fiscal year. Analytics is the replacement for Web Reporter, although it still uses the Web Reporter engine, so that's not going to go completely away, but it's a much better interface, we hope. But I stay tentative because, as we said earlier, with all the fun and games going on in St. Paul right now, we have not hit the end game for that yet. These are not free services. So let's all cross our fingers and hope for Blue Cloud Analytics and Mobile Circ, because they both look really cool. And
except I'm the only one who ever logs in.
what's that?
I have a login to set up cataloging.
Oh, that's right. Cheryl and I are the only ones who ever log into that one.
Yeah. And then as far as enterprise, yeah, Cheryl and Tyler covered everything I had on that. So that is the roadmap.
You want to just go back to the previous
Yeah.
slide with the blue
Staff
cloud?
roadmap?
So, sorry, I'm just going to add on.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I was done, so go ahead.
You'll notice that they've pushed Blue Cloud Circ, doesn't even go into pilot until later on, but that they are pushing Mobile Circ right now. It's in pilot, it's live. It's live. If you call them up and ask for it and are willing to pay for it, you'll get it. It's live. That's basically how they're doing it. So Mobile Circ is Circ Lite, check-in, check-out, inventory, and it's designed to work on your tablet. And it's also where they're planning on putting PC reliance, so offline circulation would be in this Mobile Circ. It's actually really exciting what it can do. You don't need all these bells and whistles to check a book out and check it in, and it allows you to just do some of those basic things in a very mobile environment. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, that's another one we've been waiting for a long time.
Right.